to the point, St. Lucian's 2016 general elections have come and gone, and the electorate has spoken loud and clear. The rhetoric which took place belongs to the past. The anger which arose needs to be put aside. My advice to the new leader and his team is to level a spirit of camaraderie with creative optimism. That will be reduced and that will be removed, and the skeptics who remain pessimistic will be proven wrong. Every business operates under one premise: revenue and expenditure. The wastage during the SLP administration was insane and despicable. To date, some $40 million has been identified as unnecessary expenditure. The amount of funds disbursed to hurt and humiliate the opposition was insane, and we all know the legal firms which benefited from that approach. The shortfall of funding from the US for the Royal St. Lucia Police Force remains onerous. How Alan Shastney remained resilient under the Kenny Anthony administration is nothing short of a man with a goal and determination to withstand the legal, financial, and social abuse meted out by party hacks and vultures of a well-oiled organization. A second edition of my autobiography of Room at the Top will expound on what transpired over the past 3 years with Fair Helen pertaining to the last general election. And on a final note, Mr. Tennyson Joseph, a supposedly qualified individual, is nothing more than a disgrace to St. Lucia living abroad. However, Mr. Peter Wickham will deal with him in the right time. On that score, I'm going to move now to the importance of what we have to do today, which is the banana industry. The banana industry of St. Lucia is extremely important to all and sundry. At this point in time, I cannot think of any other industry that can present itself in a more meaningful way than the banana industry. The basic principles of that industry are that in the heyday of bananas, we had 15,000 growers. It went down to $10,000 after Debbie, and today it stands at about 300 farmers. So you don't have to be a rocket scientist to understand what is going on. But by the grace of God and the good fortune of St. Lucia, I was able to meet 3 individuals who are clamoring for bananas right now. The reason for that is very simple. The Latin American fruit, which once went to Europe, has now been diverted to the Asian countries as a result of a fallout between China and the Philippines. So there is a big gap today. The individuals who I spoke to from France presently export 260,000 tons of bananas annually. That is 200,000 from Martinique and 60,000 from Guadeloupe. In their desperation for more bananas, they have now gone to the Dominican Republic, who have only facilitated them and given them 40,000 tons. There's a shortfall of $600,000 to date within their portfolio, which means that St. Lucia, Dominica, St. Vincent, and Grenada can be back in business if we handle our business right. I've had discussions here in St. Lucia with some sound farmers, and today I have on my right Mr. Peter Serrier. On my left I have Mr. Louis Fernandez, brother to Mr. Roland Fernandez, who assisted his brother in the banana industry. Both individuals are knowledgeable with the land, and they're also knowledgeable with what goes on abroad. Now, what I wish to say to St. Lucia today is that our farmers have a role to play, but the discipline required is enormous. Gone are the days when you can just put a tree in the soil and let it grow. That doesn't happen anymore. There are diseases which confront us, like the black secatoka, and thank goodness to Taiwan. a country which has been more than good to us in St. Lucia in several ways, financially and technically. And the Taiwanese have given us tremendous assistance in the Black Sigatoka to the extent that we have it well under control. Today, despite taking money in large sums from the Taiwan government, we have to bring Taiwan on board as a member of our administration to give us the expertise, because there are several areas that they can expound upon. Now, let us look at the situation with the bananas. I am told by the people who know better than me, the best type of fertilizer we get today is from Holland. And with our association today with the buyers from for the French buyers, we can use the European Union connections to get the proper fertilizer that we need. And by asking a few simple questions, I've been told very clearly that once an agreement is reached and we start off with the right fertilizer, there are farmers right now in St. Lucia who are producing bananas. And with the right fertilizer, I'm told, by the end of the year, our production can be substantially increased. But just to fill in just to advise St. Lucia where we are today. In the heyday, we produced 120,000 tons of bananas annually. Last year, 2015, we were at 15,000 tons annually. And this year, it has gone down because as of the end of May, all we have produced is 5,000 tons. And that 5,000 tons, Mr. Serrier will appraise us with the percentages that go to the region and also to Europe. Before bringing Mr. Serrier on, I just want to highlight one great obstacle we in the region face with our bananas. For some of us who are familiar with a company called Winfresh, there is a gentleman called Mr. Bernard Cornibut, who is the head of that organization. There is absolutely no doubt that Mr. Bernard Cornibut is an extremely intelligent individual, born in Ansoray, and should really have...
Canaries.
Sorry, born at Canaries, and who should really have the interests of St. Lucia at heart. But I regret to say that Mr. Bernard Cornibut has deviated in that respect, for the simple reason that Winfresh was born to help the farmers in St. Lucia. What has he done? He has started diverting the resources to making water or juices or something of that nature. Additionally, he has been working with outside sources to get the bananas into the UK market and putting the Caribbean aside. That having been said, one understands clearly why he did it in the first instance, and that is we didn't have sufficient bananas to export after the hurricanes and the Black Sigatoka. But over the years, we have taken care of those obstacles. And where Mr. Bernard Cornibut has fallen short, that he has never seen it fit to come back and assist his own country, which is going down the hill. And for that, I intend talking to this administration in order that they can take the necessary action to bring Mr. Cornibut to his senses once and for all. I happen to have an excellent relationship with the Prime Minister of Grenada, and the last word that I got, that Prime Minister Gonzalez has spoken to our new Prime Minister and has extended an olive branch. And we have to work together, because Grenada, St. Vincent, St. Lucia and Dominica can be back in business. There are very few areas today that we can get foreign exchange on, and bananas is one of them. And we intend to move in that direction in a very serious manner. On that score, I now introduce my guest, Mr. Peter Seri on my right, who will provide some information about what has been going on, and later I will talk to Louis concerning the volume of bananas his brother was able to produce, because if I'm not mistaken, I have been told that on his brother's estate, he got the greatest yield per acre, more or less in the region. Peter.
Okay, well, as to where we are presently with production and exportation of bananas, we can compare 2015 and 2016 from January to May up to date. Now in 2015, our production, our export production was 14,000 tons in total. Actually, to be exact, 13,768 tons. 72% of that amount was exported to the UK, and 28% to the region. Now, that trend, of course, has changed considerably when we look at the performance of 2016, in that up to week 19, that's taking you into the year from January to April, and on to 2 weeks in May, 19 weeks, and the 19th week, our performance stood as follows. We had exported from St. Lucia, and bear in mind, I'm giving you figures only about St. Lucia because, by and large, St. Lucia is the only island of the Windwards still exporting fruit to the UK. Previously, it was Grenada, Dominica, St. Lucia, St. Vincent. Today, it's only St. Lucia. Now, of that 5,200 tons exported up to week 19 this year, 58% has been to the UK and 42% to the region. So you can see how the trend has changed, whereas for the entire period of last year, we had only 28% of our production going to the region. We are well into the 19th week, and it's 42% to the region and 58% to the UK. Now this is happening against a backdrop when the demand for the Windward bananas in the UK is going up by leaps and bounds. Actually, in truth and in fact, we have never been able to supply the demands of the UK market. Our problem has been and continues to be maintaining the quality demanded with a degree of consistency. And of course, this is part of the reasons why so much fruit now goes to the region, because I think sometime last year was the year, I think Windfresh, Windfresh has its own quality standards, of course. When we export to the UK, the farmers have to be fair trade certified, and they have to be Global GAP certified. But in addition to that, the farmer has to meet another standard, which is Windfresh Farm Standard. And Windfresh decided that a substantial percentage, between 35 and 40%, they decided 35 and 40% of the farmers who supplied during 2015, okay, at one point, towards the latter part of 2015, they were deemed not of Windfresh Farm Standard and therefore could not produce the fruit for export to the UK. there were some minimum standards like acreage that had to be met, and they were not able to meet it. So what happened is that the exporting company sought a market for them in the region, and hence the reason why our supply of fruit to the region has grown so sharply.
Yeah, I'll say something without interrupting Mr. Seri. What, in essence, what it boils down to is the fact that as the standards drop, it goes to the region. But what it does, it encourages the farmer to be more lackadaisical. But at the end of the day, your price is dropping and you have an inferior product. We need to have the government get seriously involved and let the farmers understand that there's a standard, and once that a standard achieved, the price will be better and their livelihood will be better. St. Lucia, this is Open Mic. We've now come to the end of the first segment of our program. We'll be right back.